An absolutely wild weekend of price action, folks. It's a great Monday to be in crypto. We have a massive development happening right now with Trump and Vladimir Putin laying the groundwork for this week. What might actually end up being one of the biggest pumps yet this cycle, plus the Federal Reserve coming out explaining why they're doing their stealth quantitative easing in the background. And this is when I think altcoin season actually begins. I'll be going over that time frame here on the show today. Got my homie. We're doing this from the upstairs studio. And Isaac, you're in a different spot now.
I'm in a different spot just for today. Oh, I don't know. Maybe my car is in the shop today. I get it back. I get it back in a little bit. Hopefully,
it's all good. It happens.
Between now and 6.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens. It's a Dodge.
Yeah.
You know what can you say? What can you say? It's a Dodge.
All right, pal.
I'm going to flood your Dodge bags to the day I die, Isaac. There's no stopping me. We're glad to have you on the show.
Always.
Now, welcome, Randall. We got Uncle Tommy up here. For American, Psychedelic, Sufficient Enough. All my peeps. Ellie, what up? Jiggle Nuts. Fantastic name, Jiggle Nuts. Dank Crypto Sweats. Cali Crypto Dude. Blasnik, Kevin. All of my people. Shake and Bake. Good to see you guys. This is a beautiful, beautiful time. And you know what? Right now, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let's see if the camera can zoom in. I'm up like 34% on a couple grand. I slung on a long this morning. Is about $2,400 put in on long. Now we are going to be monitoring this trade as we go through the live. Here's the basic position where things are sitting right now. This is the 15-minute. Did get that print and the little trigger wave. So pulled the trigger right here at this little stumble point. Feeling good about this right now, but I'm going to go over why, this week I'm actually watching out for a potential move all the way on up to $113,000, kind of the measured move from the previous shelf that we've been sitting on in Bitcoin, as you can see right here. So basically the measured move from our last point and kind of the shelf where we're at now. Now this goes all the way on up to 114,000. Honestly, I already got the stop in profit. And I'm looking for the next big leg up. And I do see some major things happening on the in the news side, the macroeconomic side, and really just the general timing. And the M2 money supply is right at that point where we expected it to be flowing into Bitcoin. So, as you can see, I've highlighted, I left you guys with a great signal in the Discord channel on Friday. And it was all in relevance to the 4-hour MACD on Bitcoin. I told you this thing was going to cook up and to the right on Friday. Now, this weekend, we got out of our position. I gave the get out signal when we snapped up to about $105,000. Didn't catch the entirety of this move all the way on up to about $107,000, which is impressive. But glad I was able to get out and just take those profits to get repositioned for another one. And Isaac, should I be reasonable? Maybe clip this thing at 50%? Maybe we should ask the chat. You know what I mean?
I think leave it up to the chat because I think it's a pretty good move. And we are looking to go higher. So I'm not going to say clip it here because it has the potential to go higher, especially if we're about to print.
Well, something about this is that, as I was talking about on the show on Friday, we haven't been able to take a punch at Bitcoin's previous all-time highs off of a shelf like we have right here. So seeing that we have a good shelf, some good footing to actually make an attempt to break above and beyond this $109,000 spot, plus, given the measured move of every single time I've seen this MACD flip bullish on the 4-hour, it gives us that measured move to the upside. And let's just back test this just a bit. So we had this move, MACD flip bullish. Let's give this a quick measurement to see what that one end up, just to see if I'm nuts. Right there. Look at that. So it's kind of like clockwork. This is the stair-stepping movement that I like to see in Bitcoin in general. So I'm not too terribly worried about it. Honestly, that'd be a whole hell of a lot of fun to see that thing ride on up to this next shelf.
Yeah. Dylan K saying just move your stop loss up. Don't ever clip it.
I mean, I've done that in the past.
And then you get
really
your stop loss.
I like the trailing stop losses in instances, but I have a lot of conviction that this is going to play out. The stop loss is basically above the entry point. It gives me like a couple $100 if it fails, but I'm going for the big cheese. I want to keep, what I am trying to do right now?
What
is I'm swindling a guy. Because he's interested in the Sienna. There's someone that's interested in the Sienna. He's got an Infinity. It's like a QX80 or something like that. With like,
those are nice.
Yeah, not too many miles, like 40,000 miles or something like that. Like, look, I'll trade you the Sienna and some cash, and we'll make this deal happen. You know what I'm saying?
Aaron's gonna kill you.
No. Well, all right. So I'll take it to Aaron. And if you guys got a good mechanic out there, put a ring on it. Okay, put a ring on that thing. Make sure to follow me on Twitter here at Druth Crypto. We did get our last winner sent out his gift package for retweeting our last up. You know, we need to get back to these nightly upload videos. We put this one out at the absolute, just what a wonderful time. Has Bitcoin bottomed? I was being very, very serious about this. Let's go check out how that ended up. This is on April 7th. And this is me just working on staying true to myself and what I'm saying here. This is the overall market cap. We're at $3.29 trillion, $104,800 as of right now. April is when we're talking about potentially looking at that short-term bottom. April, right about, God, that was perfect. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh my God. Look when I put out that video. Look at this.
Legit the perfect bottom. That's crazy.
Literally.
Work.
I didn't even plan this. I just wanted to back test ourselves. Look, we did some good work, Isaac. So make sure you guys are following us, subscribe to the channel, and also get in that Discord. If you are out there trading, I left behind just an absolutely beautiful signal that played out really, really nicely over the weekend. And we're still in it right now. I've clipped that previous one, opened up a new one. We'll see how it goes. But I'm only trading with a quarter of the bag. Never let all things on the table, because you got to live to trade another day. Now, here's the big news. Let's go to the big news that is breaking as right before we went in. Is President Trump is holding a telephone conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, there's conflicting reports if this is happening right now or if it's going down at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. But regardless, these two are having a conversation, and I guarantee you that this is heavily weighted towards finding a peace deal between Russia and the Ukrainian people. Now, a lot of people, we've baked in a lot of this fear, this uncertainty and doubt. And don't get me wrong, I feel it when I'm at home and over the weekend, man. When we saw Bitcoin run up to $107,000, at first Ethereum's like, I'm coming with, and our altcoins are all like, me too. And then we snap crash, the alts snap crash even harder, and then Bitcoin runs back up, and alts like, you know what, I'm good. So I get the fear, the uncertainty, and doubt that people are having out there. But honestly, you guys, like, these are the times I have to remind myself when I finally feel uneasy, that ends up being the market makers have done their job, psyoping me into thinking that nothing's going to happen. And then real chaos actually begins there. So just keep that in mind. It's the same thing that happens to TJ. Anyone that's been in this market for a long time, we have a lot of conviction and a lot of reasons why what we're doing is on the right path. But you get these moments where the market just doesn't make any sense. The price isn't moving. And honestly, Bitcoin dominance has been choosing absolute violence. Remember this crash we were watching a few weeks back? Well, boy, howdy, it sure does not look like a crash right now. This has completely, I mean, it hasn't completely crescendoed over the previous highs that it was at, but Bitcoin dominance looks like a freaking S&P 500. I mean, it is absolutely ripping. And you know, I am watching out for like the mid 60 range, potentially even up to 68%. I'd be very hard pressed to believe that we're going to go back to 70%. But where we fall down to is really the major conversation on my mind. And I really don't think that we're going to fall all the way back to these historic levels. I actually think that we're going to hold at 50% dominance this cycle, but there's plenty of room for altcoins to run, especially when you have the Fed, you have this Treasury Secretary, and monetary makers across the world are talking about what they're doing in terms of quantitative easing. And it's not the traditional type of just money printer, send you $1,200 in the mail type of quantitative easing. But let's have a look at this major week that we're on the precipice of. Talks from Treasury Secretary Bessent. This came out this weekend. Literally, this information came out right about here from Bessent. And this is where you see the real kind of death wobble, the collapse up begin for Bitcoin when Bessent comes out and shares his thoughts here. So let's have a listen to this and see why the market's reacted.
Qatar doesn't, Saudi doesn't, UAE doesn't. They're all pushing money in. They've made 10-year investment plans. So this administration, we're doing peace deals, trade deals, and tax deals.
Bam. Working a lot of deals out, and it's pretty obvious that countries across the planet are getting ready for this injection for all different reasons, but honestly, it's the design of fiat currency goes to zero over time. And now they have one of the most competitive items that monetary policy has ever seen, which is Bitcoin. Previously, it was gold and the difficulty to get gold. But guess what? Scientists at CERN turning lead into gold. You have the, honestly, I've been talking about this for a while, but the ability to create gold in a scientific manner, like they're creating diamonds in a lab, that's right on the precipice as well. But you know what? Even this was huge news to me, Isaac. You're going to love this. The Island Boys got in a fight. They fought on Aiden Ross's boxing show here today. We got to watch a little bit of this. This is Island. You could take them. I think Isaac, you could take them.
I could take them both at the same time. It's the Island Boys. They're skinny twigs.
Let's check this out.
No, he better not fight me like that.
You're getting after it.
Oh my god, they're actually trying. Wait, oh my god. Wait, why did that? Oh, they trying. A lot of
Dude, you could totally take them. You could totally take them.
They're not even fighting. They're like pushing and like throwing.
Yeah.
Little,
well, and this is like a drunken bar fight almost, and they're like, I feel like they actually want to hurt each other, but neither one of them really knows.
I wouldn't even give it a drunken bar fight.
Yeah,
they do better in the bars.
You know, you could do it, Isaac. You could do it. I mean, Isaac's been in there training with me. They're hugging. Yeah, a lot of people. They even got one of them got arrested on the way out of the event. So that was interesting to see.
That was fun. For what?
Yeah.
You know?
The details haven't come out on what he got arrested for. You could totally take.
No, 100%. That's light work. I could do it in my sleep.
You think you could beat both of them up at the same time, though?
Possibly.
Because then you got one hitting you on the side of the head.
Yeah, but at the same time, they hit like they're like cats trying to like nip at me with their paws. So.
Oh man, ridiculous. Well, Arthur Hayes has taken the whole system on his own here. Arthur Hayes sees Bitcoin hitting $200,000 this year and $1 million by next cycle's 2028 timeframe. And also, this is the crazy part, saying that Ethereum will outperform Solana. And Altseason begins once Bitcoin breaches that $110,000. There's some serious things to think about. He's talking about Ethereum outperforming Solana. Isaac, what's your take on that? Because I know you're a Solana bull, and honestly, I'm a Solana bull too. I see a lot of transactions happening. There's a lot of dominance been taken from Ethereum by Solana so far this cycle. Do you foresee a world where Ethereum, though, outperform? Let's say Solana goes to $400, but Ethereum goes to $6,000 or $7,000. What are your thoughts on that type of situation?
A $6,000-$7,000 Ethereum was already kind of like in the books. I feel like for like where we were looking at least that's where I was looking at for like top Ethereum, and Solana between $400 and $500. But again, I think it comes to what the user base and who's using what. I feel like since Coinbase has captured Ethereum with their whole base, I feel like it gives ETH less room to run and kind of gives the base ecosystem more room to run. So I don't think that's entirely accurate. And I still think Solana has the most users, most transaction fees daily. And I feel like Solana still has that spot to take over Ethereum.
There's some things to think about here, though, right? Because we have, and I do have this story later on about the Genius Act, right? The Stablecoin Bill that might be getting passed here shortly. But let's go on over to Artemis just to check things out here, because this is quite an interesting idea to think about, right? Ethereum outpacing Solana. Now, stablecoin by supply, you have all these different metrics. Artemis, this is a great platform to utilize. But one thing that we have to note is top stablecoin supply changes by chain over 5 year. Ethereum is still in extreme control of this segment of it. So this brings to question, like, we have our existing ecosystem right now. You see degens out there having a lot of fun on Solana, and there's a lot of movement on Solana, but we are on the doorstep, and we're covering this on this show about the Genius Act, which it looks like is being voted upon tonight. Democrats have done everything they can on the front end to stop this Genius Act from going through and giving this regulatory clarity to stable coins. Now, this is a very, very important night for crypto, because if this does go through, then remember that that little test from Ondo and Chainlink with JP Morgan last week, that basically is that is what they said. It's a test. They're waiting for regulatory approval before unleashing the full power of stablecoins and really helping bolster the US economy through treasury holdings, right? Because we've seen Tether is one of the largest holders of treasuries. I think it's number 16, number 15 across the planet. But if they open the floodgates for crypto firms, crypto projects, and the crypto ecosystem to also help buying those treasury bonds, that's where some real chaos begins. And the last part about this Arthur Hayes conversation here is talking about alt season beginning when Bitcoin gets above $110,000. For me personally, I actually feel like the chaos of DeFi and really the true alt season won't kick into place until about 120, maybe $125,000. It's just what I've seen in the past. Once you get well into the mega profit zone for Bitcoin buyers, that's where they get, all right, I want to protect my upside that I've gained in Bitcoin, but I also want to hold the Bitcoin and then go take loans out against it so that I can go speculate on the altcoin markets there. So let's go check in. We're rolling over just a touch, getting a little bit of a little teaser here at $738 as of right now. Isaac, keep an eye on the charts if you may in the background or a chat.
Great.
If we get any crazy movements as I go through all these stories, because we got a lot to cover here. The digital gold rush will end, according to Michael Saylor, on January 7th, giving a very specific date of 2035. Get your Bitcoin before there's none left for you. And then Peter Schiff, our favorite bear, it's likely that people will have lost interest in Bitcoin by 2035.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard him say. That's crazy.
They're gonna be, there's the idea of sending value across the internet, that's going to be gone in 10 years. Like we're not really using the internet. Honestly, like when we think about this, we've got a great overlay to kind of put in context of this conversation right here from Gigabase Dad. Now, and this is in relevance to also a societal issue, but also how our economy and our world has been evolving over the past few years. You want to know why society is falling apart and people are becoming extremely nihilistic, believing in nothing. Just have a look at this. This is absolutely crazy. So you have the family unit is the first and foremost, 1939. Friends ticking back up and taken over by the mid 40s. School and family moving down progressively, and bars and restaurants moving up, and friends, right? So you got an uptick in bars and restaurants, and friends taking control, coworkers, people spending more time at their jobs, less time at school, less time at families, and more time with friends and coworkers by now. Now we get to the mid 80s. Again, the steady progression. Really, friends have dominated our time spent together. Why I'm so privileged. But look at this. Look at that. Look at online comes on in the early 90s. And look how quickly online activities and how much time we spend is dominated by online usage. And now we get to the 2020s. I mean, this is exactly where we're at. It's why I keep emphasizing like the new gold is data, because of how much time we spend online in comparison with our, in real life friends. And I really think that finding a balance of this and, spending time with people in real life matters quite a bit. Touching grass. I cut grass this weekend too. I don't just touch grass. I cut that grass, and my yard looks absolutely beautiful. So make sure if you can. One of the greatest joys that I've found as a busy dad is mowing the lawn on a ride-on mower. Highly recommend doing it. It is very, very very, very calming. Now, additionally to Michael Saylor and his Get Bitcoin Before It's Gone, is Strategy bought another 7,300 Bitcoin for under $1 billion. Is at $764 million, his purchase as of late. But there's been some news breaking about Michael Saylor that has the markets a little bit on edge. There's a class action lawsuit being filed against Michael Saylor's strategy, alleging misleading statements about the Bitcoin strategy. We'll read on here from Walter Bloomberg. It's basically against the strategy company and the executives in an SEC filing. The lawsuit alleges misleading statements on their strategy in general. This is the responses from the crypto degens down there. It's interesting to see a lawsuit be put against Michael Saylor and strategy. Meanwhile, Like my entire feed is like new Ponzi schemes being sold to people. You know what I mean? It's just so backwards. And really, what I see Michael Saylor's doing, I'm not a huge fan of him holding the amount of Bitcoin that he does. It's a large concentration, but he's taking advantage of the current infrastructure of debt-based value creation, and he's leveraging that ability against the existing Wall Street system. A few companies are going to be able to catch on quick enough, but at large, if we see this take hold across the board and be take advantage of, as I know these firms are going to, some weird things can happen down the line from that debt-based leveraging program here. So now there's a lot of that is a scary time lapse, isn't it, Seth? Absolutely. Show us your lawn. You know what? I should show him my lawn. It's a good lawn. I should take a picture or a video of it. I absolutely should. Now, Caleb Franzen is one of the best in the biz when it comes to macro markets and Bitcoin. Bitcoin relative to US Treasuries, the BTC to TLT chart was flashing a bullish RSI divergence on the 2-day candles, which has been an extremely effective signal so far for him. Showed us in real time, and this is the bullish divergence in play. The lowers on the price action, the higher on the RSI, showing that there was strength coming in. There was interest in buying, but the chart wasn't yet expressing that. It is definitely expressing it as of right now. Quick check in on price, little rollback. We'll see if we last. I think my stop is right at about 103.65, so we'll see if it lasts. Keep an eye on that for me in the background if you may. We got a lot of stuff to cover here. The Texas Bitcoin Reserve has gone into the second house reading, and this will go Tuesday, May 20th. Isaac, it is going to be one busy week, man. We are heading to Bitcoin Vegas here. God, when are we going there?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday? Yeah, because I'm heading to Alabama on Thursday. I'm going to be streaming still, but I'm going to be heading to Alabama for a little bit of family rest and reprieve. Then I'll get back and we go straight to Bitcoin Vegas. It is going to be jam-packed out there. And if you are heading out there to Bitcoin Vegas, make sure to hit us up, see if we can hang out. Would love to see you guys in person out there. We can take some selfies together, maybe shoot some machine guns. It's going to be great. Now, Bitcoin just recorded its highest weekly close ever when we did have that market close of our weekly candle this past weekend, while the global economic policy uncertainty index has hit its highest level in history. What an incredible comparison of graph. Look at this.
Jesus.
Bitcoin live price, all-time highs. Then uncertainty index for economic policy has also absolutely jackknifed beyond levels we've ever seen before. What a time to be in live. The system is, in my opinion, basically forced into this Bitcoin standard. And it is, it's pretty incredible to see. It's pretty incredible to see. It's nice to be positioned ahead of this and holding some of the best, crypto projects out there. And thank God we have the family kind of legacy Bitcoin there. Holy God, I'd be losing sleep watching this Bitcoin dominance graph. But there will be a time for alts. And we got a lot of good news actually to cover on alts. But the main thing for alts is seeing that bond buyback program, seeing the quantitative easing, the injections of billions and billions of dollars from the Fed, and really new capital coming into the markets to flood downhill into some of the best projects out there. And you know what? Ondo, Chainlink, they're easy. Morpho's easy for me. But we got a couple other ones I want to look at today as well. So with this last little washout, it's been a little bit scary for institutional Bitcoin holders. Their holdings have dropped by 10% of Q1 2025, the impact of de-risking during the tariff and trade war uncertainty. But you have this in contrast with that Trump conversation and really the push for peace from Trump and negotiations, trillions of dollars negotiated from Trump and the Saudi Arabia, UAE, and who's that? Qatar, I think it was. Like he went all over the place.
I think it was Qatar.
Yeah, get like $5 trillion injected into the U.S. economy over the next few years. Absolutely massive move from Trump. A lot of people faded him, thought he's doing all the wrong things. Well, who's laughing now? And that just one more look at this highest ever. This is a historic weekly close for Bitcoin. Absolutely incredible. And honestly, it's nice to see us go back up to these levels and these are on weekly candles, but we don't have these massive flush out counts. I mean, this was the last one we had. And honestly, I do miss that moment. 75K Bitcoin was the easiest long that I've ever taken. But we did get this momentary washout. I got another one in. It's going to be okay. Now we're going to check out the top trending crypto projects out here. Let's give a quick refresh on this. This newbie next space coming out here. Bitcoin's second highest trending token. Look at that, Isaac. Pi token out of the left field off the top ropes. Number 3, Pi tokens. And then Ethereum. Ethereum is fourth highest trending crypto projects right now. On the 50 or on the 30 day, it's up 53% too. Not a bad look for Ethereum. A big punchback. Then we got Aura, Xterio, Toncoin. This is a bigger one. Number 7, Toncoin. It'll be interesting to see Toncoin fight to hold that, top 10 position as the market progresses and as we get truer and closer to that alt season rally. We got NEM, XEM, and then Bitensor Tau coming in at number 9. And then another one, Stella. Not Stellar, but Stella. Ticker Alpha here. Very, very interesting stuff there. And Solana actually is not too far down. Solana is trending. I think Pith is trending for the wrong reasons. And we're going to get to that story here in just a minute right here because its competitor, the Big Daddy, Chainlink, has officially went live on Solana, baby. This is why I was sketched about betting against Chainlink and putting it into Pith, is because Chainlink already has the whole Oracle space pretty much cornered. So Chainlink CCIP is now officially live on Solana mainnet, supercharging the DeFi within Solana by unlocking access to $18 billion of assets. Very, very big deal. Good to see. Look at this, Isaac, me and you. We're homies now, not only in real life,
but also on chain. I know, that's so bullish. Why do I need the bows right now? But we don't have them. That's okay.
No. Well, hold on.
Yours might shut down the entire thing.
I think I know.
I can't hear anything. So,
well,
anyways, y'all know what it sounds like.
Yeah. Bow. Now, again, I cover the Genius Act, the Stablecoin Bill, and how it plays into the unleashing of Chainlink, Ondo, and many other. Honestly, RLUSD will probably find use case at different banks and organizations as well within XRP's organization, but it's a stable coin that I think the banks are going to prefer utilizing. Remember, the deals are made with Ripple, not with the XRP token. So I think that the stable coin within XRP is more designed for this move. But this is Sergey talking about this, and let's have a listen to Sergey talking about what's really coming for TradFi, because I think we're right around the corner, and this vote tonight might unleash this.
That the DTCC and JP Morgan are really the top 2 players, I would say. Like if I had a choice of the top 2 players in the US economy and maybe in the global economy in relation to the amount of capital and amount of things, it would be JP Morgan and DTCC. JP Morgan's the leading US institution, and the DTCC is the leading financial market infrastructure of the world, right? Yep. And we've had some amount of work with both of them that's now public.
So this is him basically saying what I agree with Shane. As far as he's concerned, they've already won, but it hasn't been reflected on prices of yet. And in my opinion, because these things haven't been actually allowed on a regulatory level to be unleashed, we have Swift slated to go live with Chainlink in November. And we have a lot of other organizations now interested in using it for finalization of transactions on chain. Now, I don't think that Chainlink's going to come out here and start running half of all financial transactions out of the gate. But I do think that we're going to be looking at about a 1 to 5% integration of on-chain transactions over the next year or two here. And with that comes great upside for these projects that are very, very early. And, that's where taking the risk and having, exposure to, some of the best stablecoin providers, some of the best DeFi protocols, that's where that really starts to come into position. And I think we're going to be just fine in it. It's about holding long enough to experience that massive upside. And this is talking about the Stablecoin Bill being voted upon tonight. It looks like this has happened tonight. Confirmation of the Senate voting on stablecoin legislation. The Genius
issue, as far as I have always understood the stablecoin issue, is what is backing this stuff, and how much of it's backed by actual treasuries versus cash versus equities or something else. What does this say about all of that?
It's not going to be equities. It's going to be high quality short-term assets, either short-term short-term U.S. Treasuries or cash. I think the majority of it will be U.S. Treasuries. In fact, what this will do, and the projections are by 2030, this is according to Citibank, stablecoin issuers will be the largest holders of U.S. Treasuries in the world.
Who has been fighting this?
Well, the people that like centralized currencies. This is a decentralized concept.
Right.
You know, where you register with the various.
No, but I'm so interested in terms of who was trying to get meetings with you for the last year to say, please, this is a terrible idea.
No one in the industry is doing that.
Of course not.
It has to do with my colleagues, and basically, it's gotten to be a question, and we'll find out tonight. We have broad policy agreement, Democrats and Republicans. The question is, can we get past the partisan politics and allow us to actually have a victory? I would enjoy having a bipartisan victory.
So there's nobody in industry who's saying this is a bad idea?
No.
So the only people who are saying it's a bad idea to you thus far are, you're saying, just other politicians? For what reason, though?
Politicians that want to see centralized control.
Right.
And, you know, a centralized control, if you want that, buy the digital yuan. I don't want to see that happen here in America. I think it would be devastating for the dollar's value as the reserve currency. This will actually perpetuate the dollar's value as a reserve currency. It will extend that momentum. It's going to extend demand for U.S. Treasuries.
He said some pretty interesting stuff. It's like policymakers, economic majors, you know, they all want this to happen. They know that they need the backstop of what crypto can provide, even on the treasury markets. But it's still partisan, and he's hoping for that bipartisan support, a little bit of organization and cohesion within politics. That's where the pain in tonight's vote/conversation comes into play. Hopefully they can see past their noses and move forward with this, because we do not want to be left behind and see the likes of China take over crypto. That'd be very, very bad. Now, Kraken is being attacked by a dog, is being attacked by a dog on Bitcoin to make this happen. A lot of people, I just had to highlight this. The dog army has been relentless on getting their token listed on Kraken Exchange. Now, it is a ruin, and it is on the Bitcoin network. It'd be interesting to see if Kraken opens the floodgates to dog the Bitcoin rune. It's essentially a meme coin.
Pretty much.
Get released. Honestly, it would be pretty crazy because the ease of access is what hinders dog for the most part. Like, I know it's available on some exchanges, but no major ones, right? So if we did see Kraken unleash the dogs, let the dogs out, man. I mean, the meme coin it's number 153 right now, but it's in general down from when it got listed. Its info here on CoinMarketCap. The painful part about this project for me is I tried to buy it like literally the day it came out, and MoonPay banned me for trying to buy it originally. So it was a thing, and I didn't want to swap my OG Bitcoin out for that at the time, you know, so getting held off on it. Maybe I'll take a little bit of swing at it, just in case that Kraken listing does happen, because that would be a pretty big deal. Now, Coinbase's ticker Coin officially goes live today on the S&P 500. And this is a stock, I believe, actually I agree with this Chris fellow here, that Coinbase's stock, I do believe, will go into the $700 to $1,000 level over the next few years here. Probably around this time frame, you know, 2028, next cycle, it'd be a 4-digit stock. You know, I'm patient enough. And really, I did buy some stock last week. I do wonder how it is doing here.
What was it called?
I may want to. It's called Safety Shot. It's that company that they can like actively lower your blood alcohol content with it. So I'm going to just pull this up, because this is like, it's basically like buying a meme coin with how beat up this thing is. I'm down on the stocks. Damn it. Should have just stuck to leverage trading.
Up on the trade, actually.
Was the trade good?
104.8 to tick back up.
Baby, come on, mother trucker, come on. Come on, mother trucker, come on. All right, now let's see here.
Shake and Bake's asking for the ticker. Isn't the ticker SHOT?
Yeah, SHOT. It's just SHOT. It's a very interesting company. It's a very, very small company. We may as well show them while I'm talking about it here. I think you know me, I don't mess with many stocks. My wife brought this company up to me, and like I saw this chart and I was like, shit. Because this is like a $36 million market cap. It's something that metabolizes blood alcohol content, and they got a patent on the product as well. You know, if we did see This thing, like this is a $36 million market cap. Keep this in context. Like Monster Energy, that brand in of itself has a $68 billion market cap. If you have something that can actively lower your blood alcohol content and they sell it in bars, gas stations, and maybe even keep it around in hospitals or drunk tanks, that's something that came to my mind. I was like, shit, I could see them actually getting that. Also this weekend, as ETH bled, BlackRock just bought $8.6 million, not billion, worth of Ethereum on Coinbase. Now, BlackRock's in the background stacking Ethereum. I think a lot of what I showed you on this Artemis flows page, and again, this is artemisanalytics.com, is you can really see the proof and the put in on why the Stablecoin Act matters so damn much for altcoins, but especially Ethereum. To see the gates be opened up for Ethereum on the stablecoin side, a major, major deal that a lot of people aren't really taking advantage of. And really, the pain is here. This is from Jeremy BTC. This is the pain for Ethereum folks, and especially NFT folks. When the NFT you bought isn't worth one Ethereum anymore, the Ethereum you bought isn't worth $4,000 anymore, and the $4,000 you ended up buying it with isn't worth 4K anymore. So very, very, very brutal experience that NFT holders have had, Ethereum holders have had. We'll be watching that Stablecoin Act. We might want to go live for that Stablecoin Act tonight, Isaac, because that's a big, big deal. Yeah, I honestly, I don't go live often, but when I do, right, it matters.
What time
I
is
think
it?
that'd be something to watch. It's about 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight.
Sounds good to me. I mean, if you want to kick it, we can kick it.
Yeah, I think I might
want
want
a big thing. So.
Yeah. Now, just in terms of altcoins in aggregate, this is a great analysis from Matthew Hyland. He's one of the best TA folks out there, and I'm excited to see him out in Bitcoin Vegas. A lot of alts can make bullish divergence against Bitcoin tonight. He covers this in his Patreon, but basically you have higher lows being set up, lower lows here. And this is in relevance to this post. So many altcoin RSIs are diverging against both the US dollar and Bitcoin pairs. This is a hidden divergence, hidden bullish divergence. Covered many pairs, seeing the newest in his video. So make sure you give him a follow. This guy's a great TA analyst. He looks at the aggregate market very effectively. Now, in terms of the aggregate market, let's also look at this. Serious delinquencies, unpaid balances as of the last 90 days is for the middle class and lower class, mostly in the US. The upper class, this is never a problem for them, are rising across the board. This means mortgages, home equity credit lines, auto loans, credit cards, and student loans are all hitting major, major delinquency levels. The average person, they say that there's no recession and that the economy is doing so great, but the average person is out there suffering. This is why it's so important for me and you, Isaac, to wake up every single damn day and come out here and talk about crypto on a human level, not some pompous, I'm on this hill level. It's about talking to the average person that doesn't get it yet, man. Yeah. This is why our job matters so much. Now, Foxconn, this is a major company, is constructing an AI factory in collaboration with Taiwan and the Taiwanese government and NVIDIA. Foxconn is a major producer of, I think they make semiconductor chips or regular just computer products. They're hooking up with the Taiwanese government and NVIDIA to start producing AI systems. AI is going to be another major sector that's going to have upside over the next few years. And Native Patriot highlighting this, Russia spreading disinformation about Biden's health. Remember this?
I do.
Department of Homeland Security. This is 2020, September of 2020, where there's a bunch of Russia. No, Joe Biden's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. Now, it seems that Joe Biden actually has been sick for quite some time. They hid it from the American public, and we were almost led off the edge of a cliff by them forcing him back into a second presidency when he literally, and you know what? I don't wish harm on him. I hope that Joe Biden is able to calmly and enjoy the last years of his life. Why are they pushing that guy into the limelight while they know he was sick, while they know that he wasn't capable of doing it? It's, it's straight up elder abuse is what it really boils down to. So hope he ends up enjoying the rest of his life, honestly. Now, you can only buy so much time with the insane monetary and fiscal policy going on in Japan. And the prime minister has warned that financial conditions are worse than Greece's. Major words, because Greece basically defaulted in the EU, into the EU a few years back. The Bank of Japan is absolutely out of control. None of their frenzied bond buying is sustainable. There's no buyers for their debt. The government has had to come back in a major way, honestly, well beyond any historical norm, to buy their own bonds to hoist up and keep their fiat currency alive. This is why you see, the major uncertainty in Japan, but companies like Metaplanet out there are absolutely crushing it because they're adopting the Bitcoin standard. They're adopting the strategy and Bitcoin treasury, and they're outpacing their own currency by leaps and bounds. Now, Federal Reserve came out and says that central banks here in the United States and across the world stand ready to provide liquidity. That big old fat printer is warming up. It's getting ready. And this indeed is bullish for Bitcoin and crypto, because the more they print, which is, there really is no ceiling, the higher Bitcoin can go. There is no ceiling to the top of Bitcoin in this kind of environment, folks. Now, the Fed has been highlighted here buying $43.6 billion worth of bonds. Very quietly, this went under the radar. Bullish scenario mentioned a few weeks ago is gaining traction. And for anyone that pays attention to macro markets and how they have to keep the Ponzi scheme of fiat currencies moving by using government-created debt to buy their own currency bonds, understands that fiat is a giant Ponzi scheme. And that's why it makes it a lot easier to buy Bitcoin, because it's a finite resource. It's based in physics and the cost of energy to mine the Bitcoin. This is where it's such a simple conversation for the average person. If you get across the table from them at dinner, you want to understand why you Bitcoin. There's very simple ways to kind of quantify it down to. Now, China, another big thing on the back of minds right now. We did have last week or the week before that a little bit of trade negotiations happening. They came out warning of retaliation if the U.S. goes its own way. I love that song. I love America going its own way. And honestly, wouldn't be surprised if China takes it out on the United States by trying to implement some massive tariff. If India starts producing more and more products and sending it to the United States at lower tariffs, which it actually does look like is indeed going to happen, China is about to be, betrayed by India. China's going to get betrayed by India.
Very interesting.
So, yeah, the real question is, how long was Biden sick for? That is the real question, isn't it?
Like 2019. I think 2019.
Dude, I mean, he's been saying that he's sick for a while, right? Remember, he was talking, he's like, all these people have cancer, including myself. And everyone's like, wait, what? You? And he's like, and they're like, no, he must have been kidding. That was just a slip up. He is actually sick. 2019, you think?
Yeah, I think he started getting it around 2019. And then I know there was a bunch of talk in 2020, especially with COVID all there. I know he was in and out of the hospital that year. So he's been sick for the past 5-6 years.
Yeah. Very sad. Very sad to think about. Like, they're pushing him into the limelight when all this is going on. And you know what? China's been doing some war drums. They're highlighting this. China's first aerial mothership, the Jiatan SS UAV, scheduled for maiden flight in June. This is kind of interesting. It can cruise at about 15,000 meters, carrying 100 small drones or 1,000 kilograms of missiles with a range of 7,000 kilometers. Don't worry, China's military is peace-oriented, though. From the start, we grow stronger to deter aggression, unlike the U.S., always attacking other nations. Honestly, this looks like a centralized target for one of our satellites to just zap out of the space. They roll these things out. Japan came out with their invasion barge. Now they come out with this massive plane to release, thousands or hundreds of drones, thousands of missiles. If you don't control it, think about this. If you don't control space in our current day and age, you don't control the air. So there is that. Just technology has shifted. Technology has shifted. It is what it is. Now, on the other end, what you got, Isaac?
No, I'm like sitting here reading the comments I read when I loud. China would beat the U.S. in war.
A lot of people feel that way because but the thing is China's an untested military superpower. The United States has been actively at war for basically our whole existence. Their tech is good, application and utilizing the tech. Not even close to the United States. That's where the big difference is when it comes to the application of military force, the United States is still King Kugla, and we do control the space sector in a very, very big way. So I can understand why the mindset of seeing this technology coming out, they're like, oh, China's got us cooked. But honestly, when it comes down to brass tacks, applying that military pressure still comes down to the United States control here. So Donald Trump coming out here, according to news reports, Beyonce was paid $11 million. Remember that appearance from Beyonce? $11 million.
That was the funniest day in the entire campaign.
And wasn't like
Beyonce came out for 4 minutes, said whatever she said, didn't perform a single song, and walked off, and she got booed off stage. That was the funniest campaign thing that ever happened.
You know, just it's insane to think about. She got $11 million just to be like, hey, you know, and then leaves.
You should vote for Kamala.
Yeah.
Bye,
and it didn't even work. It didn't even work. Not even close. Not even one song. Remember, the Democrats and Kamala illegally paid her millions of dollars for doing nothing other than giving Kamala a full-throated endorsement. This is an illegal election scam at the highest level, an illegal campaign contribution. Bruce Springsteen also named in this, Oprah, Bono, and perhaps many others have a lot of explaining to do to the current sitting president of the United States.
Like Eminem. Eminem is on that list too.
Bro, I wonder if Snoop's going to get wrapped up in it. Remember that video of Snoop holding the Trump head up?
Oh, he did do that.
He did do that. Yeah. And Kathy Griffin. Remember, there's a lot of big ones. There's a lot of big names.
There was like hundreds of those pictures going around. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But, it's okay because it's the Democrats.
Yeah. And well, now I got like, this is from Barron News. I don't know if this is real or not. We're covering this as it's developing, but this has been making its rounds. Apparently, Barack Hussein Obama, also known as John Paul Ludwig, and his social security number shared, an investigation has revealed the identity of a man whose social security number has been used by Barack Obama. The guy was born in France in 1890, immigrated to the United States in 1924, and was assigned the social security number, Obama's current number, received on or about March of 1977. Very interesting overlap there. Ludwig lived most of his life in Connecticut. Because of that, his social security number begins with the digits 042, which are among only a few selected reserved for Connecticut residents. Obama never lived or worked in Connecticut. Therefore, there is no reason on earth his SSN should start with the digits 042, none whatsoever. So a little bit of unhinged movements there from potentially the Barron camp there. And you know what? This is the pain all dads, all bros, all husbands feel. It's the Amazon truck. Please stop. It keeps coming. You know what? But I did do my own Amazon purchase. I try to buy in person as much as I can, but I cannot find the right phone cover. I had to get some new glass for the phone. And it's basically kind of impossible to find that stuff in person. So sometimes I do capitulate into Amazon. It is what it is. But I do my best to avoid it. Isaac, did you see this? They're also deporting Joe Exotic's husband.
I did see this. This was really funny.
Man, Joe Exotic's husband officially been taken to an ICE detention center for deportation. This is from Joe himself. They've taken him to ICE hearing and either to stay in America or go back to Mexico. Now he's tagging Trump. Don't you think between losing my life's work, my parents, now this, I've suffered enough. It's time to watch season 2 of Tiger King and see they admired on the world television that committed perjury and let me go. And then he shared stamps of his lover's butthole. So there's that. Shout out to you, Joe Exotic. Hope you're enjoying your time there, buddy. You know, it's kind of a weird situation Joe Exotic lives in. Kind of famous from prison, right? Very famous from prison. Very, very interesting. Is that the Chainlink symbol? Oh, Nick. Oh my God.
Who said I didn't have the power?
Oh, that was rough. That was rough. Now, in this season, you know, we're whittling this down to altcoins. Okay. So let's look at Bitcoin dominance again, and let's go look at the altcoin sector. I've made some new dry powder, and I am in buying mode. So, you know, I almost feel like just using the dry powder just to continuously like trade Bitcoin and then stack Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin dominance graph. And, where it sits right now, honestly, until we see a large amount of quantitative easing and markets realizing it's hitting, alt season's going to have to wait. I know we are targeting towards around the June timeframe. Currently, we are about 150 days, 155 days past expectations for dominance to fall apart, which has brought us to brought me to the thought process that this cycle actually has a little bit more time frame in it, a little bit more juice to run. And the reason for that, on top of this extension of the Bitcoin dominance graph, comes from my view of the Pi cycle top indicator. So we'll head on over the Pi cycle top indicator just to do our check-in, see how close we are to overlapping these lines and really being kind of at the top of Bitcoin. And dude, look at how wide open that is. See those 4-hour candles just going violent up and down the stairs that we have built on our price action right now. Honestly, a perfect setup here. We have really good amount of time to run for Bitcoin. This does look similar to kind of the front end here. At the front end of 2021, right around like Q3, Q4 2020, honestly, we are building a pretty similar pattern. So I really think that right now I'm watching for 2026 Q1 to be that blow off top moment. And with that, that's the tough part is do I just buy Bitcoin with the tether I'm printing? You know what I mean? I'm getting worried about my dent on the head too. Have you seen those videos of the dents on the head?
Yeah, I think we're all gonna get to that point where we
I don't want to get to that point.
I don't want to
man.
get to that point either, but I feel
Here,
like
I'll
in
do
Vegas,
this.
we're all just gonna have like these big.
I'm just gonna look
headphone
awkward.
dents.
I'm just gonna
But,
look awkward. I'm gonna leave it like this, bro.
Buying
I don't
Bitcoin
know that.
over altcoins right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. I would more lean towards altcoins just because of the higher upside to then rotate into Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
we are like what 104.7 right now. That's what we're saying.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, but we've never been this here to stay for Bitcoin. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean? And that we have state reserves about to be announced out of Texas.
mhm.
We are going to see, honestly, I have a good bag of alts. Let's go look at the alts and maybe I'll add to my current portfolio here. Moonwell's actually up today. That's good to see. It's at 3.3 cents. High token. I'm still holding it. Planning to dump this scam. Probably never though. But a lot of these are on major pullbacks here. Constellations at 4.5. That's too expensive for my blood. Honestly, all these are too expensive for my blood. Morpho's already doubled from that entry point we got a few weeks ago, so that's aggravating. What is Ket doing? Why is Ket pumping? It's up 20% on the week. Let's go check out the rest of the markets here. I did see Proppy had a little bit of love last night. Let's see what the best. I mean, most of these. Let's pull up the biggest losers because I could probably find some love there. Athena. Ooh. Oh. I mean, this is I think ENA is something to watch out for. I just haven't pulled the trigger on actually buying it. That is one hell of a buy zone that it's in right now. Virtuals. Let's see if we got any substantial pullback on virtuals. Not really, honestly.
Not really.
It is kind of stalling out at the shelf though, which is something to watch out for. Like the shelf for virtuals is about $1.30, $1.40 here, up to $1.70. It's at $1.80 right now. It was recently at freaking like $4 or something like that, though. It's got a lot of ground. Ooh, should we look at Graphane?
We can look at
How's
Graphane as long as we can look at Bounce Bit, the token I've been stalking for a while. That's that RWA DeFi lending spot.
So you're just under 100 mil on Graphane. You're down
Yes.
17% today.
Yes, no worries.
Not great. It's not,
I don't-
but you know what?
I don't
If it can
care.
build this shelf and hold this shelf, you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Yeah,
Get that little bounce up. Now, what's the other one that you mentioned?
Bounce Bit, ticker BB.
Bounce Bit. Let's see here.
Second one right there.
Damn.
Yeah,
And 4% today. Interesting.
it's a pretty good grab. Again, this is this is the RWA DeFi lending spot that I was talking about last week, and I brought up to that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's number 381, so it's pretty low. It's a small market cap.
Pretty small. It's around the same thing as Graphane.
Yeah. Yes, I'm still bullish on Moonwell. Mr. McHale, get some pith. Virtuals
No.
going to $10 plus. I wouldn't be surprised if virtuals hits $10. I'm kind of going through this Cardano Maxi over here. I still got my Cardano bags. It feels like an easy layup into altcoins right now. It's just against the backdrop, like everything's just so beat down. Look at the coin 360 map right now. Pain across the board here. But you know what? Buying pain in my past has done me well in the future. I've learned how to do it time over time. Look at Marinade TVL to price ratio. Marinade. Let's go check out Marinade. Let's go check out Marinade.
And while we're doing that, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, repost if you're on X, do all the things. So everybody can.
Vets give me shit in the chat because I'm not in that DeFi pool for Moonwell yet.
Oh, wow.
Bro, I leverage trade, I run shows, I find out where all the money is moving to begin with. Like, but I do plan on doing the Morpho bag at the least. But calm down on me, Vet. God, I don't have as much time on my hands as you do. Let's see here. Wait, this is Marinade on DeFi Llama. Let's see here. Oh, it's gonna freeze up on me again. All right, here we go. There we go.
There we go.
Holy God.
Holy Jesus.
Holy God. Dude, and Chainlink just hooked up with Solana for the DeFi side of it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That might be a little sneaky play.
Oh. Oh my God.
Man, that upside is nasty.
Oh my God.
Oh
Dude,
my God.
And then Kamino's not a bad one either. Let's look at Kamino real quick. Sorry. All right, this is Marinade. This is probably my DCA for this week. Kamino. I know Taka loves Kamino. A lot of people love Kamino. Nice, just straight up into the right action on the TVL. Very, very consistent growth on Caminos. Let's get this price action overlaid. Good arbitrage opportunity for this one too. Good arbitrage. All right, let's head on over to the charts. Let's see here. Marinade. Yeah, this is exciting to see Solana get hooked up with Chainlink and then now like $18 billion, opened up to flow. Let's see here. Because you haven't really seen Solana like explode narrative wise with the DeFi side. You've seen it explode on AI, on meme coins. You haven't seen it do it on the DeFi side. So Marinade, God, it's marinating. Marinade is marinating right here. Absolutely delicious. We've got some seasonings. We got some bottoms being built up here. This is a great highlight. Good timing, Crypto Stevo. He's one of the best. I can't wait to see Crypto Stevo out in Vegas. Now the other one, Kamino. Let's see how Kamino's looking for potential entry point here. KMNO down 4% today. That's wonderful, honestly. When I just looked at that TVL chart, yeah, these are both good little opportunities here, honestly, dude. Okay. This is looking delicious. And as Dylan K says, he loves a good bottom here. So
Amen.
Very, very nice. I love the timing of Steve. Like, he doesn't chill me stuff to cover at the wrong times. He's like, because he knows I don't like chasing green candles. He knows I'm always looking for the stuff no one else is looking for when it's not popular. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Crypto Steve. Now, where the trade sits right now, we're at just about, I got to undo that. We're just about 105,000. I'll cook my stop loss. Maybe I'll put a trailing stop loss on this one to try to ride this one. But we're probably going to run into a lot more turbulence again up here. Let's go check out the liquidation heat map to see what it is looking like right now.
I believe.
Yeah, I saw that line. It's like 107.5, right? Let's go to it and let's go check her out. Let's go to the 12-hour. Make this smaller. All right, so we got this one on the 12-hour showing 105.9. The Fox. I always want to say the Fox after I say that. Then this thick line on the 24-hour at 107.5. Nailed it. So right there, there's 66 million that'll be washed out there. A lot of people, you notice, a lot of people are kind of scared to trade right now, right? And they're leaving their stops a lot wider than we're used to seeing here. 48-hour kind of a split race here, but you do have 2 yellow spots above, 1 yellow spot, and then a slightly yellow spot below, wide stops as well. And on the 3-day, the aggregate, this is lower leverage type viewpoints here. Yeah, get up into the 107.5. But you know what? When we do start breaking up and beyond this, we're going to see shorts start to compound, and really, and that's where the self-fulfilling prophecy and how Bitcoin's able to just really start taking up is because a lot of shorts come into play above the level. So if it does break that 107 spot, man, there's going to be a bunch of shorts to liquidate, and they're probably going to get wrecked. That's where the real takeoff moment begins.
Sad.
This is where they and you know what? This week with Trump talking to Putin, we got the Treasury talking about their QE needs on buying back bonds that no one wants to buy. We got the Genius Act tonight, potentially unlocking Altseason. Man, this is the time to be paying attention. I love and appreciate every single one of you out there for joining us on the show today. Isaac, you better get that car back tonight, man. I got to get you back in the office.
They're still working on it. I just got a little message from them, so it's almost done. It's almost done.
Did you do a V8 swap? Let's do a V8 swap.
I wish I could
V8
swap it completely, bro. Like get a new transmission, just pretty much reset the car back
let's
to
put a
zero
Cummins. Let's put a diesel in that thing, man.
Let's put a D. Let's put a V12 from a freaking Ferrari.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I love you guys. Thanks for joining the show. MCO, Mads, Lizzie, the Nickis, Papa Goose, Shake and Bake, Flat Smack, Mr. Food is Life Sufficient Enough, Nate 707, and Jay. And now also thanks for joining us. I know Veterans in there somewhere, but we're hopping on over to Kelly Kellum at BitLab Academy. Make sure to tell him you're from the basement. Say hello. Get that alpha on all of his. He's going to go over TA on a bunch of different altcoins, more specified manner, not just the flows and where the money's moving to, but levels to watch on those particular coins. So make sure to give him a shout from us. I love and appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next show. Take care.